At American University, we don't just hope for change, we create it. We don't just dream of a better world, we make it a reality. With a graduate degree from AU, you'll access expert faculty and connections throughout DC to develop skills and experience to turn your passion into purpose. And that purpose can make all the difference in your career. Discover the difference a degree makes at american.edu/grad school.
You are listening to New Theory Radio. Theory Radio.
Hello and welcome to another edition of New Theory Radio here on iTunes and CFRE. My name is Nav Nanwa. I'm your host, a show where we theorize on all things current affairs, pop culture, and everyday life. Very excited to bring you another edition of today's show with a extremely talented panel of guests. I will start with the person in front of me. With over 24 million YouTube views to his credit, the Identity Crisis, real name Paul Castro, is an award-winning singer, songwriter, rapper, multi-instrumentalist, producer, composer, and video director that has worked with the likes of Superwoman, aka Lily Singh, the RZA of Wu-Tang Clan, check that out, and he's opened for Lights, Carl Wolf, and Maestro. He has 3 solo albums currently available on iTunes, Spotify, and Apple Music, and is a touring member of the gold-selling hip-hop group Grits. Give it up for my homie, the Identity Crisis, a.k.a. Paul Castro. Paul, thank you so much for joining us here on New Theory Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me, Nev.
Anytime, man. Very excited. You and I just figured out that we're both diehard Tribe Called Quest fans.
Absolutely.
So I feel bad for our co-panelists, because if we get into a bit of a conversation about them, she might not have anything to say.
Maybe we can say that for another time.
Maybe. But I think it's a great segue to introduce the other panelist we have on today's show. She is a former Miss Canada from 2013.
Correct.
She is another amazing recording artist that's making waves. She actually had a song called Bad Woman that blew up on CBC and got selected, I guess, by the Junos as well.
Yeah, it was an initiative put together by the Junos and CBC called Canada 150.
Ooh,
Sound
fancy.
of Canada, Canada Sound.
So she was the Sound of Canada, and she's a champion axe thrower, the queen of axe throwing. We just found that out. And she's a good friend, and she actually has a new song that's going to be released on Valentine's Day.
That's right. Kiss Me Crazy.
Kiss Me Crazy.
14th.
Wow. Ooh, check that out. Give it up for my good friend from Soundrive Records, Melle Rose.
Hello.
Round of applause.
Thank you so much for the intro.
Anytime. No, I'm very, very excited to have you both on. And I'm very excited to be tackling some interesting topics from the week. Because both of you guys are dope artists, I figured I'd sort of gear the conversations this week to really talk about the entertainment industry and just some of the things that came up. Let's start with the first one, and I'd love to get your theories on this. And that's what we do here on New Theory Radio, is we get theories on things that are going on, both in the world of current affairs or pop culture or everyday life, depending on the topic. The first topic I want to discuss is Liam Neeson. He had a very interesting interview this week promoting a movie that's coming out on Friday, where he admitted that he had thoughts of killing a black man because his friend was raped by one. And the feedback to this interview was quite interesting. A lot of people were like, "Man, what was he thinking? What was his publicist thinking when he said that?" What was going through his mind when it came to making that statement, and how did he expect people to react? And then some people are just really confused and think that the star of Taken just will forever be an interesting guy. First and foremost, are you guys fans of Liam Neeson? And Paul, maybe we'll begin with you.
Yeah, I like the Taken movies.
Yeah.
I like some of the other work he's done. Mm-hmm. I like him as an actor.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like the projects he's been kind of affiliated with. Interesting, very interesting news piece. I hadn't heard of it until today, actually, but I did delve into it a little bit. And from what I understand, like obviously, like we're living in a very funny climate right now.
Oh, we totally are.
It's like we've dialed back. 60 years. And we're living in
you almost have to watch what you say, And it's crazy because now things that we would, normally say in conversation, you almost have to think twice and be like, am I being offensive here?
Right. Well, now here's from what I gather happened. I think like the context was that he was actually discussing the role he plays in this movie. And he was trying to give context as to why what he was actually pulling from in order to play this character.
Yeah.
People are leaving that out.
Yeah.
People are also leaving out. There was another caveat to the whole situation that's kind of slipped my memory. But the fact that that he's using it as also kind of like a promotional tool, I believe. You know what I mean? Because controversy kind of...
Yeah, controversy.
In this day and age, controversy like equals cash.
It does,
right?
it does.
So at the end of the
Totally.
day, especially if he wanted it to kind of come back towards hyping up the movie, then I understand kind of what he was doing. I'm not sure that it was the smartest move. Obviously, I mean, there's been quite a bit of backlash.
Well, he's flat out denying that he's racist,
Right.
And he also, similar to what we were talking about earlier, he flat out said he feels like everyone is just being politically correct, and
Right.
he also mentions in the same interview that he had regret when it came to having those thoughts. So
Yeah, he did say that, and and people are leaving that out as well.
They are
because we're in a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything is a headline, right? So everyone's looking for clickbait.
Yeah,
and
they totally are.
they're using just the part that's going to rile people up.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's definitely a lot of the backlash is based on the headline alone, and people aren't delving deeper. You know what I mean?
Mel, what are your thoughts?
I don't think he's racist. I honestly, well, first and foremost, anytime you say anything in this day and age, you have to be careful.
100%.
You can offend anyone and everyone, which is something that drives me a little bit crazy right now. I think we are too sensitive.
Yeah.
I honestly think that we've gone too far and everything is okay now, which is not okay. So, I listened to the audio. I heard his whole spiel. And what I take from it is, he talks about a past experience. And because the gentleman, or the not so much gentleman who hurt his friend, was black, he had associated, negative thoughts, not with the race, but with people in that area. He talks about, wanting to find someone who had the characteristics, of the guy who did that act and find him and deal with him. So I think, had his friend been hurt by someone at a clown mask, maybe, he would, I'm not trying to make it funny here, but maybe he would have something against clowns. So I don't think it comes down to a racist view. I think it's like a mental health situation where he's got negative trauma, and experience and associations based on something that has happened.
Yeah, it's almost like PTSD, right?
Yeah.
If you
Right,
think about
it's-
it. And obviously the rape that he's referring to didn't actually happen to him, it happened to a friend of his.
Right.
But for anybody, if for example, if you ever, if you were to get attacked by a lion per se, chances are, the next lion that you see, you're either going to take cover or you're going to feel a sense of remorse, or it's not remorse, but a sense of, hey, I want to do something to this.
Why are you seeing a second line in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. That's true too. That's true.
But
too.
yeah, no,
and I'm not condoning violence against lions. But I'm just saying, it is that built up fear that makes you very defensive.
Right. The first question he asked his friend was, what did he look like?
Yeah.
Tall, short, what color? These are just, everyone has different colors, shapes, sizes. We are an awesome world because of our diversity. So I think he was just trying to find, this attacker and, wanted to get as much information on him as possible and was looking for that characteristic of people in the area. I don't think he's racist, but I think it could have been delivered in a way better manner.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
It was pretty tacky the way he delivered it. Yeah. But I mean, and I know, I'm an artist. I know how artists are.
Yeah.
I think in his head, he was kind of trying to state that, hey, if I can think this way, then a lot of people do think this way as well. And because I kind of was able to not follow through, then, I kind of deserve a little more merit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was... So I think that maybe what he had in his head. It's hard to, I don't know the guy, but I mean, that, like, who in the right mind would say?
No, I know what you mean. Like,
lines?
he might have said it as a way to show people, look, I had these feelings, but then I didn't do anything about it.
Right.
And you can do the same thing.
Yeah. And it's almost like trying to use his influence, because I mean, like, that's how Hollywood. They all think that and we've kind of given them the platform to the point where, whenever Leo says something about something political, people follow what he says.
But even if you want to, take the example of hip hop as an as a premise here, I'm a diehard Kanye West fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with the MAGA views that he puts out there, or him wearing the MAGA hat.
Right.
And, as much as people disagree with that, and as much as he likes to use social media to dispute it, there's still people, to your point, that are going to continually buy into his music, which ultimately, just like what you started with, controversy does equal cash.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Would you guys ever take that strategy as musicians?
You know what, man? Like, if you think about, like, I don't know, I've got maybe a little slightly twisted view of the way that the music industry works now. But like, if you look at all the people that are on top, man, they're all using that as a strategy. To an extent, they're not. There's how many legit artists are able to like, in its purest form, how many of them are able to, like, sustain a long career just based on their art?
No,
you know what I mean? You have to kind of use some sort of controversy as a hook, because people, quite frankly, don't give a rat's ass about your music. You know what I mean?
We're in this era of the hot take. Everyone just likes to have a hot take on everything.
Well, I think, as an artist, like, when I talk and think about controversy and using it as a tactic, I honestly just think that you have to be honest, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's enough opinions out there. There's nothing that's black and white.
Yeah.
And, it's, again, we talked about what it's like in this day and age, but you can say something that will get the goats of some other people.
Totally.
But not everyone.
Yeah.
So I think the best platform is to just be honest. It's okay to have a hot opinion, but, like, make sure it's, like, true from the heart. I think it's really challenging to be an artist and to appease everyone, because it's, when you write music, whether it's, the honest truth, your opinion, or a narrative, because stories through music are a great way to share them. You got to hope that the listeners are not too naive and willing to follow along and believe and subscribe to everything that's said in these songs. Sometimes they're a story, or, outlandish things that aren't actually real life.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is, you're going to offend people. And again, these are stories. They may not be true. They may not be how you feel. They may be creating poetic justice. So there's just... everyone's going to have their own take on a song, and there's no way to make everyone happy. And people will unpack it and twist it any way they see fit.
Yeah. So just going back to Liam Neeson, so he has flat out, come out with a couple statements saying, hey, look, everyone's just too sensitive nowadays. I didn't actually mean it. I'm not racist. Whatever. He's actually had his co-stars of his that made comments. One specifically was Michelle Rodriguez, who we probably all remember from the Fast and Furious movies from back in the day. And it's a movie that I actually watched fairly recently called Widows. Pretty cool movie for the most part. And even when I saw the Liam Neeson story this week, it kind of made me think about this movie, because he's in a relationship with Viola Davis, who is African American, and she flat out said, maybe in defense of Liam Neeson, but also kind of giving him a bit of a creepy Me Too vibe, that saying, hey, Liam Neeson can't be racist because of how he kisses, says Michelle Rodriguez. Apparently he had his tongue so far down Viola Davis's throat that it was quite awkward during filming. So I don't know if she's trying to change the narrative there, but she's also trying to prove the point that, hey, this guy, if he was racist, he wouldn't make out with someone from a different race.
Yeah.
So if you're Liam Neeson, how would you bounce back? Would you just move on and just keep your career going, and then just sort of throw this under the rug and hope that no one talks about it, or would you make more efforts to show people that, hey, you took my comments out of context, this is who I actually am?
It's a good question. I mean, like, I'm not in his shoes, right? So I'm not. Yeah. But like, by the same token, it's like, I think that the people that are already going to boycott his movies from here on in are going to boycott his movies.
Yeah, exactly.
The people that are going to still watch his movies, the people that are still going to support are going to support.
Yeah.
So going back to the point that Mel made about like you can't please everybody. He's already kind of laid his path, right? So, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to sweep it under the rug, and I mean, kind of just move forward.
Just hire a new PR team and just don't do interviews. Don't do interviews for the rest of the year.
I think he's done what he can. You know, you confront the situation, you put out your statements, and again, you know, people have already made their mind up. They're going to keep it that way, or they'll be open to what you have to say and look forward.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how the movie does at the box office.
Because I think everyone's curious about that
factor, right?
Yeah, because normally Liam Neeson does pretty well with his movies because he's considered one of those action stars that, you know, is a badass and people like watching him, you know, from the Taken movies and all of that. So be curious to see how Cold Pursuit does. You guys going to watch Cold Pursuit? I think we're facing a Cold Pursuit outside.
Oh my gosh. Skating rinks.
Oh my god, it's so icy here. Actually, one other similar example that this reminds me of is I know an example that Paul's familiar with based on your interest, but Hulk Hogan dropping the N-bomb a few years ago, and now just now being accepted by WWE is sort of coming back into the family and being used for promotional purposes. My hot take is, you know, I was a big Hulk Hogan fan growing up. When he made those remarks and the context that he made those remarks, which was sort of different than the way Liam Neeson went about it. Yeah. I'm having a tough time forgiving the guy because I just look at him as being very opportunistic. And Paul, let me know your thoughts on that. And Mel, we'll get you to chime in on that.
I don't know. I feel like I mean, that footage wasn't really meant to be released. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he was kind of he might have been under the influence. And that kind of thing. I mean, those are terrible thoughts to have, irregardless. Yeah. But I mean, like I'm still a Hogan fan.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's terrible things that he said. Absolutely. Yeah. But I don't know.
It's almost that conversation, that debate that we're having with a lot of stars lately is how do you separate the art from the person, right? I think that's an interesting debate. Mel, what are your thoughts on Hulk Hogan? Are you a wrestling fan?
Well, all I know, like all I can think about is eat your vegetables. And
vitamins.
Vitamins.
Hulk Hogan never ate vegetables.
My bad. Vitamins. Can't even do his voice. And he's got a crazy mustache or like facial hair, right? That guy. Yeah. No, I'm not familiar with this situation, but that's a word that I don't think is okay to really.
Were you a Brooke Hogan fan?
Oh, what?
Brooke Hogan, his daughter. She had a single. She was
Paul Wall.
Paul Wall, yeah.
I'm not actually familiar with her.
Really?
So sorry, Hogans. I'll have to work on my research on y'all. But I don't think that's an okay word to say at any time.
I feel like one of you guys needs to do a song with Paul Wall and just grill it out.
Paul squared.
All right, let's move on. This weekend actually is a huge occasion if you're a music fan or a musician or an artist. The Grammy Awards are taking place on Sunday from Los Angeles, being hosted by the amazing Alicia Keys. But you know what's interesting about the Grammy Awards is I find it to be, as a music fan, quite the interesting watch. For the last couple years, there has been a lot of scrutiny towards the Grammy Awards and who gets awarded awards and who doesn't. There's also a lot of scrutiny regarding some of the performances that happened at the Grammy Awards. I know Lady Gaga did a very interesting David Bowie tribute a few years ago that didn't really swing a lot of people, and even this year, apparently there's a Motown tribute, and Jennifer Lopez is singing in it. Which
really,
cool. Yeah, I know. I saw two different reactions here. But it's always an interesting award show, and it's actually one of the award shows that I love being on Twitter for, because I find that there's so many hot takes regarding the Grammy Awards. Yeah, people are just straight savage mode regarding fashion choices and who wins what award. But I want to ask you both, you know, considering the role both of you play in music, what does the Grammys mean to you? Do you guys still aspire to win a Grammy? As a music fan, is it something that you religiously tune into every year to really celebrate the music that maybe you were into the previous year? And you know, and especially when it comes to you know, the prestige that comes with a Grammy Award, do you feel like you know, considering a lot of mainstream artists are almost going against what the Grammys are doing because of just some of the issues that they've had. What's your overall take on the way that this institution is being run? And Mel, maybe we'll begin with you.
Yeah, so the Grammys is something that I do follow. If I don't watch it, I'll check for the highlights.
Yeah.
And
it's a long show. It's usually like 5 hours.
Yeah, I can't say that I've sat through
especially if I work the next day. It's not pretty.
Yeah, but from a surface level, I love the Grammys to, hear about the music and how it all went down the years. But I also love the fashion, so I tune in for kind of those two reasons on a surface level. But as an artist, it's absolutely still a goal to get a Grammy. And, it's kind of like hanging that plaque, that award, your degree. It's like our pedigree. We hang it on the wall, set it on the shelf.
Yeah.
And it shows that you've hit a certain level of success and recognition. I don't know that it defines that you are the best artist or your music is the best, because I think award shows in general, it's a little bit of a mashup between a popularity contest, who you know, and playing your cards right. But I do still think, these award shows are important because it's a night to spread light to the arts industry, which is always good to take a little bit of the spotlight for us.
Yeah, totally. Paul, what are your thoughts on the Grammys?
Yeah, the Grammy, I was telling Mel this earlier, the Grammy is our Super Bowl ring in our industry.
It definitely is,
the Grammy is our Oscar.
Yeah.
The Grammy is our PhD. If you think about like the number of people that have actually won a Grammy versus the number of people that have never even, been nominated.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very elite number of people. And the Grammy is viewed, at least in my mind, as like the apex, the zenith of how just how well you can do in the music business. So is this something I aspire to? Absolutely. If I could have that attached to my bio, I can triple the price of my beats.
The rate goes
my
up,
features.
right?
Yeah, you can do that. It's marketing at the end of the day,
That's a
right?
good point, yeah.
Right.
Oh, man.
So, and then like, hey, if Mel wins a Grammy, guess how much she's charging for a show now? You know what I mean? Like
we already know Mel's rates like through the roof.
It's like an accountant.
Yeah, exactly.
From like being just like a normal into like a proper CPA. Like
Yeah,
you're like, no, like good point. Yeah, 100%. Give me a Grammy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, Paul, as you were talking about people who haven't won a Grammy, I pulled up a list that Variety posted about 30 artists who've never won a Grammy. Let's just run through these quickly because I think some of these are interesting. Bob Marley's never won a Grammy, but they gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2001. Buddy Holly's never won a Grammy.
Wow.
Busta Rhymes has never won a Grammy.
Wow.
Guns N' Roses has never they've never won a Grammy, but they've been nominated. Jimi Hendrix has never won a Grammy.
Makes sense.
Katy Perry's also never won a Grammy.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Katy Perry?
Yeah. Kiss has never won a Grammy. And I think they're on the retirement tour.
You mean the 17th leg?
The 17th night. Yeah. Is it one of those retirement tours that's going to last for 5 years?
Who knows?
Like
man. They've been
Elton,
going on-
when Elton John's like, I'm going on my last tour, and it's like 3 years long. You're like,
Until they can't go.
I'm hoping to get tickets to that Elton show.
and then for all you hip hop fans, Nas hasn't won a Grammy, but he's been nominated 13 times. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that Nas hasn't won a Grammy, but Macklemore has.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man, but no. It was speaking of artists and the Grammy Awards. One article that I saw in Pitchfork was that Kendrick, Drake, and Childish Gambino have some of the most nominees this coming weekend, and all three of them turned down performances. And no one knows why, and no one knows if they're going to be attending the awards. But we all know how politically driven someone like Kendrick Lamar is. He's someone he actually performed at the Grammys last year.
Yep.
But it's interesting because I think last year specifically, I think was it Bruno Mars that won Album of the Year? I believe he did. Yeah. There was a lot of people that were saying Kendrick should have won it, or there's a lot of people that felt Jay-Z should have won it. I think Jay-Z had the most nominations, and he didn't win. He won 0. He won zilch.
Right.
And I think that's where it really hits home for a lot of people is, like I remember once, I think the year that Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP got nominated for Album of the Year, Steely Dan won instead. And everybody who was within that age demo that liked Eminem, they were like, where did the Steely Dan album come from? Like, there's always that one album that gets nominated for Album of the Year that just takes it. And it's an album that's, for the most part, people feel like it's geared towards who the Academy encompasses versus the general population.
Well, that's the one thing I like about it. I mean, you can either hate it or like it. At the end of the day, it's not based on sales.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not based on quote unquote relevance.
Yeah.
It's based on, I guess, musical taste, musicalness.
Yeah.
Did I just make up a word?
Musicalness.
Probably.
Yeah.
Musicalness.
It'd be neat to see the actual criteria. Like, category musicalness.
But in some ways,
10 out of
it's
10.
almost like the Grammy Awards. Sorry, it's almost like the Oscars, right? The Oscars.
It's not box office. It's not about how many tickets it sold.
Yeah.
It's about, I guess, like
Actingness.
actingness.
But but to your point, if an album, I think the favorite for Album of the Year is the Casey Musgraves album. Have you guys heard that one? It's actually really good.
Okay.
I actually didn't know who she was until I saw her album on someone's best of list, and she's a country singer, but her melodies are like off the hook. Like, it's really dope.
Oh, wow.
And but when I see who she's nominated with, I was just like, okay, well, I think it's pretty much a done deal that she's gonna win, because I don't see Cardi B winning Album of the Year. As much as I love the Black Panther soundtrack, I don't see that winning. Maybe for that sole reason, because it's a soundtrack versus a full.
That's up for Album of the Year?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Album of the Year. Actually, let's go through. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the Album of the Year nominees. Let me see if you guys have heard them. Okay, so Album of the Year is Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B.
Okay. Yeah.
Can we all agree that Cardi B has finally surpassed Nicki Minaj? Because I don't think
I'm
Nicki
Team
Minaj,
Cardi.
definitely now.
100%.
Team Cardi.
Yeah.
Hold on. What's going on? Okay, hold on. I'm having technical difficulties here. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to cut this all out. A little bit of buffer. Here we go. Let's go here. Come on.
Do you remember when it was Beyonce up against Beck? I think it was Album of the Year.
Yeah, and that Beck album was actually really good. I really like that Beck album. That's one where when Beck won, was that one? Did Kanye West try to interrupt that one too?
Possible.
Or
no, he said something backstage.
Yeah.
But if you you look at someone made a meme about that and how many writers and producers it took to make the Beyonce record, and Beck
He's like on his
the
own.
writer?
was just Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? Who Run the World, Girls? That song? There's like
Yeah.
a zillion
Was that the album?
writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a Major Lazer song. That's a
That
Diplo-
was,
that's
it was a
Diplo track.
Major
And then-
Lazer sampled song. But I remember that because I remember seeing the comparison done online because of that.
Right.
And, okay, I found it. Give me a second. So, yeah, Bruno Mars did win last year, which he did get a lot of slack for. But this year we have, okay, so Invasion of Privacy, Cardi B. By the Way, I Forgive You by Brandy Carlisle. Do you know that one, Mel?
Looking my way. No, not off the top of my head. No.
Scorpion Drake, which I'm sorry, I thought that album was way too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
Did you like that album?
I mean, I like some of it.
Yeah. I think we all
But
can agree that
yeah,
there
it
was a
wasn't
lot of filler.
Yeah, not good work.
Her, which is like this R&B singer, she has her album nominated. I actually like the
She's
album.
got some good stuff.
She
like,
does.
Actually.
Yeah, she's very talented. She's
I
super
like
young,
her.
too. Yeah, I like her as well. Beer Bongs and Bentleys, Post Malone.
Yep.
That's a
All
good
right.
album.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Dirty Computer, Janelle Monáe. You guys listen to that one? That was really good. Golden Hour, Casey Musgraves is the one that I mentioned. And Black Panther, the album.
Okay.
So,
Panther.
so if you ask me, I feel like Casey Musgraves is going to win. But I also, if she wins, I don't see a huge backlash happening if she gets the award, mainly because she's a younger country artist. Younger, I think she's the same age as me. But she's also, I think she has mainstream appeal. So I don't know if a lot of people would hate on that. Because I think she's playing Coachella. So I think she's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she got street cred.
Yeah, this year we don't have, like, for example, Paul McCartney isn't nominated for Album of the Year. But if he was, I'm sure he'd win.
Then yeah.
Yeah, that's always a given, right?
Yeah.
He likes to do that. But what are you guys' thoughts on Alicia Keys hosting? versus James Corden?
Was that supposed to be a thing?
I don't know. James Corden was hosting it because he had that carpool karaoke thing for the longest time.
Which I actually loved.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, carpool karaoke. You know what? Is it bad to say I'm indifferent
If you want,
to her
go
hosting?
ahead.
Like, I don't. Honestly, like, she's in and off of my radar, on and off all the time, and like she'll pop up for like the weirdest things. Like the last time I really
Was it
looked
The Voice?
into her. No, you know what?
What?
She was like the spokesperson for BlackBerry.
Oh yes,
Way back in the
she was actually like the director of marketing or something like that.
Yeah, and being originally from Kitchener-Waterloo, like that's BlackBerry Central, right? Like I grew up with one. I held on to that until I switched over.
I thought I still had one. I thought I still saw you with one.
Hey, don't you hate? No, I'm actually Team Android. Believe
Team
it or
Android,
not.
really. I thought you were going to give off your BBM pin at the end of this.
I might.
You want to connect with Mel? I want to hear
Ping
new
me.
music. Ping her on BBM.
But yeah, no. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I think honestly, does the host really make all that much difference anymore? Honestly,
I kind of miss LL Cool J. I'll be honest.
Really?
I think LL Cool J was a good host.
Yeah.
See, I don't even remember LL Cool J as a host.
Yeah, LL Cool J was hosting it for like the longest time, and then for the last 2 years, I think it was James Corden because he was blowing up with Carpool Karaoke. Plus, I think it was on the same network that his show
makes
airs.
sense.
And then this year, when Alicia Keys got it, a lot of people were happy with that decision because I think a lot of people were just annoyed by James Corden now. I think he's been sort of stuffed down our throats.
Right.
But yeah, to your point, I'm a big Alicia Keys fan, but I don't know. I was also indifferent. I kind of felt it was a little random, to be honest.
I like her. I like her music. It is random though. Like as a host to run it, like she just kind of signs on the line.
You have now these artists like well, I guess they're all affiliated with The Voice, but you have these types of artists now that are becoming like personalities.
Yeah.
So you have Alicia Keys, Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, Adam Levine. There's also somebody's like Sierra.
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green, like all of these.
Usher.
Yeah, Usher. All these.
Usher.
Yeah, exactly. Have you guys watched that new show that James Corden's been hosting? It's like
The rap battles?
Nah, but there's also this World of Music one or World of Art. It has like RuPaul, Drew Barrymore, and
yeah.
Faith Hill.
I saw that after the
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva's on there too.
Yeah, and I think Rikishi's
Rikishi's on there.
Rikishi's one of the judges.
They didn't key in his name.
Yeah. I thought that show was too complicated. I'll be honest. I think that American Idol voice format has been done to death.
Yeah.
For 20 years too. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember just watching it after the Super Bowl, and I think I think each act gets an average score based on the three main judges, and then there's a whole wad of these worldwide judges that can add to that average score, and you have to get above 75 to move on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It just seems overly complicated. And
You should just call it music school.
you should just get a
You
grade.
pass.
Just to close out the Grammys, I have one last thing I wanted to talk. Ultimately, do you guys feel, because we're all around the same age, do you feel like the Grammys does a good enough job at targeting sort of the older millennial demographic, or do you still feel like it's your grandmother's award show?
Oh, man, look at the hip hop from last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the Tribe Called Quest album should have been nominated.
And it never did. Yeah.
And it didn't. And it was all these new school cats.
Yeah.
So are they actually catering to the younger audience?
It's a double-edged sword.
See what I mean? Well, the thing with hip hop is a young person's sport.
It is.
For lack of a better term. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, you have to have like a hot record. And
Totally.
actually, I was listening
Radio
to,
plays.
yeah. So, I was listening to a podcast today talking about this, how hip hop doesn't like if KRS-One was to go on a world tour right now, he'd sell 30 tickets in every city, if that. The Rolling Stones,
he's lucky,
you know what I mean. The Rolling Stones will sell out arenas, will sell out stadiums. So hip hop is funny because it's we don't show love to the pioneers.
No, we don't. We don't.
You know what I mean?
And to your point, I think Jay-Z will become the Rolling Stones of hip hop.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think he'll forever go on tour and make a ton of money. But that's a great point. Like,
so,
it is a young man's or young woman's game for the most part. And I always feel because the Grammys get knocked so much for being out of touch,
Right.
that they purposely do these moves to honor some of these mainstream cats,
Right.
just as a way to be like, hey, look, we're mainstream. We're not just old farts that listen to the
Yeah,
same
it might
stuff
be
over
a
and over again.
pendulum swing move.
Maybe.
I think, like, I want to say that they do their best, right? Music is huge, like, across these lands, right? And everything deserves to be recognized.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, this operates like a business. So I think they do their best to try to balance being authentic to what's going on in the music world, from mainstream to everything else, as well as to what's marketable.
Yeah.
Because this thing, it's chicken and the egg, to be honest. If this thing doesn't have, a followship, and it doesn't have traction and funding and people jumping in,
Yeah.
they can't do it anymore.
No, they can't.
And as
That's
much
true.
as we hate any award show, like, you almost have to treat it like a business while trying to be as authentic as possible. So I think they're really
totally.
doing what they can.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if they even, and I don't know if it's come towards my radar or not, but you normally, like, every single year they release like a Grammy album with all the
Yep.
songs that they're honoring. I used to buy that album when I was a kid,
Yeah.
just because it had all the top songs on it.
Right.
I remember eventually they came up with like a hip hop edition.
Right.
And that was I always thought that was an interesting one. I was like, oh wow, like they released like the one that's just catering to all the awards, and then they came up with one with just hip hop. And there was years when the hip hop award wasn't even on the broadcast,
Right.
because they
yeah,
just
for a
ran
long
out of time,
For a
and you
long
would just
time.
see a scroll with who won at the bottom.
In between commercial
But
breaks.
hip hop cannot be ignored. Like, hip hop is the vehicle to sell anything and everything to youth culture right
Yeah.
now, right? So, and it has been for the last 20 years, right?
Actually, to not let Mel be left out,
It was like, come on now.
I want-
There's other things.
I want your prediction on the best pop vocal album.
You're going to break them down?
Okay, so who's gonna win? We have Camilla by Camila Cabello, Meaning of Life, which I know is one of your favorites, from Kelly Clarkson, Sweetener by Ariana Grande, which, trivia note, Sweetener was on my best of 2018
Okay.
top albums. I thought it was an amazing album. Pharrell's all over that album, just
Yeah.
kills it. Shawn Mendes, self-titled Shawn Mendes, Beautiful Trauma, Pink, and then Reputation, Taylor Swift, which... Was that the Taylor Swift album where she took a lot of chances and people were just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, where she did her big, like, I'm a bad girl.
Yeah.
And
then Mel's like, I did it first with that. So thank you.
Tay, calm down.
Yeah.
I actually, oh man, that's tough, because I actually did enjoy Taylor Swift's album for that one. I think
You like the... Like,
I
like what
did.
she
I think it was fun.
Yeah.
I think it was cool what she did.
She still had a monster tour out of it. Plus, I heard
she
that
did.
she's really in the driver's seat when it comes to her distribution. Like, apparently her newest
She-
record deal is, like, insane.
Yeah.
Is she back on Spotify yet?
I don't know if she's back on Spotify, but I think on her new deal, she did an agreement so that when it comes to streaming revenue, she's making a large upside versus
for her.
other artists. Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
for her.
She's done some, like, I
'Cause we're
really
all getting
respect her.
screwed.
Yeah.
Well, I respect
Yeah.
her as a businesswoman and an artist. Like, she's
Yeah.
someone that, like, I would talk with and have a really nice time. So yeah, mad respect to her. But I also really liked Pink's stuff as well. It was really good. But I honestly think my prediction for this year would be Ariana.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I feel like this is Ariana's time.
It's her year.
Yeah.
She's like,
She
thank
had-
you, next.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And her new album's coming out, and she's being criticized for apparently stealing Soulja Boy's flow, but we'll see.
Really?
Well, on that Seven Ring song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a catchy song, though. I think right now is Ariana's time, though, to be honest. And
I think so.
it'll be interesting to see.
What
how
about the
things
Canadian
play out.
boy? Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes? Shawn Mendes is actually, we talked about him on a previous episode of the podcast, actually one of the first episodes that I did, and it was really around toxic masculinity and how he had to go on Rolling Stone and tell people, hey, look, I'm not gay. Like,
Yeah,
as
I'm
much as
just-
people think I am, I'm not gay. Like, I'm very in tune with my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite the debate, 'cause people were hating on him, like, oh, why do you have to specify that? You know, what do you have against gay people all of a sudden? And like, it just blew
Here
up in
we
his
go
face,
again.
and people were debating it online, like, oh, he hates gay people, oh, he's not admitting it. Like, it's
Oh,
just
man.
stupidness.
Yeah.
He's such a little sweetie, too. I saw him at, not last Junos, when Junos was in Ottawa.
Yeah, yeah.
And his show, and like I was around the crowd and chit-chatting with all the crew after, and he is just so sweet. He's
Yeah.
so polite and
Yeah.
just, yeah, I like him.
But he's not
He's
going to
a
win the
good
Grammy,
person.
though, right?
I don't think so. You know what? Like, he's up there. He would be a good pick, but Ariana, she's got it.
That's funny.
Mariah Carey Jr.
Mariah Carey Jr.
Hey.
Wow. Shots fired.
No,
by
that's not an insult, man.
Or just in general.
Because Mariah Carey is Mariah Carey is a vocalist.
Yeah.
That's true too. That's true. If I'm Mariah Carey, I'd be worried because I think Ariana Grande can just. I think Ariana Grande is one Christmas hit away of having the new
I don't
Christmas
know.
anthem.
Like, okay, have you heard of any other good Christmas songs since Mariah Carey's? Like, as far as new Christmas music goes, like really, I've listened to them and I'm like,
Not really. No, I'm trying to think. What was one that was bumping
Since
during
Mariah?
Christmas time?
Yeah.
When was that? 90s?
Which one? Mariah's was early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think every Christmas time it just comes back to the charts. Like it's an instant moneymaker for her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like her Charlie Brown soundtrack, pretty much.
So you're talking like original Christmas music.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Like,
about-
write
what
a
about-
new Christmas song.
What about NSYNC? Happy Holidays. Merry Christmas.
The fact you had to remind me that song existed.
I'm pretty sure if you heard it, you'd be like, "This is an awesome song." I think I know Justin.
I didn't mind the Justin Bieber one.
With a mistletoe.
Mistletoe, yeah, that was a dope.
It's
record.
good, but it's not comparable,
Yeah, you're right.
right? Like, really,
Not
name one
compared to
that
all
you're like,
I want for Christmas.
that grandma would have on her playlist, and you would as well, right? The classics and that one.
Yeah, there needs to be more Christmas anthems. Speaking of, I guess, of holidays, would you consider or occasions? And we're talking about Christmas, which was a few months ago, but coming up actually next week is Valentine's Day.
VD.
Actually, it's a week from when we're recording this. It's quite the holiday. Actually, I found an article that I wanted to discuss with both of you regarding how, being that we live in the Instagram world nowadays, because of tools like Instagram, millennials are paying like a shit ton of money when it comes to Valentine's Day. I think on average they're spending about like $266.
Oh, wow.
Men are for their girlfriends or for their wives because of Valentine's Day. Just what are your thoughts on this? Like, obviously when we get closer to the occasion, you'll start to see, people who are very anti-Valentine's Day, who like to celebrate the fact that they're single. But if you're in a relationship, chances are there is some pressure on you to do something nice for your significant other. I, as an example, I'm kind of thinking about what I should do on Valentine's Day. Hoping my wife doesn't listen to this because I haven't thought about anything yet. But what is your thoughts or what is your theory on the importance of this holiday? And Mel, don't be biased because I know you have a song dropping on Valentine's Day. But in general, when it comes to the actual occasion, and I don't know, can we tell the listeners that you're in a long distance relationship?
Yeah, we'll let them in.
Well, cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of
in
the
case you're
bag.
wondering, Mel is in a relationship. All you creepers, stop commenting on this. So is Valentine's Day a big deal for you?
It is,
Yeah.
it's a lot of people who hate it, say that it's the Hallmark holiday and that, you should love everyone every single day of the year. But it's like, well, then why do we celebrate things like Mother's Day and Father's Day? You should always love your parents, within reason. And, well, people have stories. I want to be like real nice again. 2019, right? So you should always love your parents and, of course. But we take these days to step away from our busy lives and everything we're doing and to really focus on that as our sole focus for the day. So Valentine's Day, you chose to love, and I mean love everyone, it would be a greater experience. And the first step is being open to love. If you're closed and you're going to say, that's Hallmark, then you're not going to enjoy your time. So I think, again, just to reiterate, like Valentine's Day is something that goes beyond romance. Absolutely. If you've got a significant other, do something fun. You don't have to break the bank unless that's what you want to do. But for your family, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, send them a little message like, hey, I love you. Thanks for being in my life. Right?
That's so beautiful. That's so nice.
Yeah.
And she has a new single coming out on
Valentine's
Day.
And so this actually, I released Bad Woman on February 14th last year.
Wow. Can we talk?
Right?
Can we talk about what Bad Woman means?
Well, okay, that was like such an anti-Valentine song, but it was like, I guess I liked it because it was a contrast. So it's about the other woman, and
oh my God,
the main character realizing that there's a whole affair going on and whatnot, and just being like, you know what, other women, At least you know what you're doing is bad, so you're the better person, unlike this coward who's like, yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you are the other woman, you should expect a Valentine's Day gift.
You think?
Yeah.
Is that who gets the gift?
Well, I'm not taking part in any of this, but I'm just saying that I'm sure there's an expectation if you're the other woman, just as you described on Bad Woman, that you'd want a Valentine's gift too. No?
Yeah, it was
Is that like an or else caveat?
I don't. Maybe it's a blackmail situation. I don't know.
But moving away from that, the track I'm releasing this year, February 14th, is called "Kiss Me Crazy."
Ooh, nice. I think I've heard you perform it. It's a good song.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And went around kissing people across the GTA.
Did you actually?
Wow.
Well, kind of, because germs are gross and stuff. I had a giant lollipop that would be between the both of us. But I've been giving out little chocolate kisses and just spreading the love. And that's
nice.
the whole point
You're
of the
also wearing
song.
red too, which is great.
Sponsored by Hershey.
Yeah, it's sponsored content. There's like Lint or Hershey that's like putting her to work.
You don't
That's
know
great.
what's in the works.
Paul, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on Valentine's Day?
Is it weird to say I'm indifferent? To quote Mel earlier. Honestly, like, to me, it's just another day.
Yeah.
I'm currently not in a relationship, so.
But you are. Can we talk about how?
No.
We can't talk about how you use Tinder.
Oh yeah, we can.
There's Tinder tales.
I was gonna say what you think I was gonna say. Will you be on Tinder on Valentine's Day?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that would probably be smart, right? Because like, everyone that's single is swiping. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow,
it.
modern day
it.
romance.
As yeah, well, yeah.
I'm a
It was
hopeless
funny. Like
romantic.
my wife and I actually, my wife and I actually got together before Tinder came out. So
Oh, wow.
I've never experienced what the Tinder craze was.
Can I tell you about endorphins?
What
And,
endorphins? As in the endorphins that get released. when
Oh
you
yeah,
match?
it's like a weird thing. It's kind of like when you get like a bunch of likes on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
There's something chemically that
Really,
happens.
eh?
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
used to just collect them. Like, I wouldn't even talk to people. And at some point, I was just like,
You're one of those. No wonder you never
Collect the
messaged me
matches.
back.
That was it. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like a little trophy that like Mel has on her Tinder profile.
It's literally like
The amount of
Instagram
matches.
likes.
How many have you talked to?
they
Nobody.
encourage you. They give you like little like stars, and they're like, keep swiping. Talk to this person or keep swiping. And they make the second part sound so much better.
Well, speaking of Tinder, my best friend actually found his fiance on Tinder.
Tinderella.
Yeah, Tinderella. That's what we call it. And it's funny that we call her Tinderella because the way they met is she's originally from New York. She's a great aspiring Broadway actress. Shout out to Rachel.
Wow.
And she was here doing the Mervish production of Cinderella.
No way.
So literally, it's a Tinderella scenario.
Oh, I love it.
And they've actually been together for a long time, and I know my buddies actually had conversations with Tinder telling them, "Hey, look, I was able to find my fiance through your app." So it is possible. It totally is possible. You never know when you're swiping left or right. Swiping right.
Right.
When you swipe right, see, I never used this. I don't know. When you swipe right, you could be finding the one
Yeah.
potentially. As artists. I know, Mel, you're putting out a song on Valentine's Day, which is quite strategic, I must say, from a launch standpoint, because it's clearly a love song or a song about love, and putting it out on Valentine's Day makes total sense. Do you like the whole strategy? I know we were talking a bit about Christmas songs and Mariah Carey. Do you like releasing songs that have to deal with occasions? Like, do you find that as fans of yours, that allows you to become a part of their lives, especially when it comes to these types of moments?
I love being relevant. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love being
yeah.
part of people's lives. I didn't write this song for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but it just
I
made
just
sense
felt,
from a release
that
standpoint.
it was
Totally.
appropriate to release it at this point, and it would hit the hearts of those celebrating the holiday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paul, do you have a Valentine's Day song?
I do not.
You don't? Are you going to
No.
go write one and
No, I'm
release
not.
it next week? Why not?
I don't really do love songs.
Yeah.
Do I?
I don't know.
I have some, I guess. Yeah.
You
No,
never,
the answer's no.
You never
The
did work
answer's-
with the RZA or like, hey, let's put together a Wu-Tang love ode for Valentine's Day?
Oh man, that would be off brand for for the woo movement.
You woo me, I woo you.
Oh, snap. Get the RZA on the phone. Melle Rose just has a song for them.
Speaking of pun stuff, just a suggestion.
Yes.
For your next EP, can you call it Place? Melle Rose. I was
Is that
waiting
the first time
37
that's happened to
minutes.
you?
No, you know what? It's people are like, so your name Melle Rose. Like, do you ever run into that? And I'm like, you know what? People that are my age and younger, they don't really know the reference, and those that are older love the fact that I'm the same as that show.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what is the origin of Melle Rose?
It's my name.
Oh.
It's my real name's Melanie Rose.
Okay.
So I go by Melle Rose.
So she shortened the Ani
I did.
from Melanie, and it's just Mel.
Oh,
So it works.
That's an awesome name.
You want to know something really weird?
What's up?
Okay, it's really weird.
Uh-oh, here
I'm
we
not
go.
actually psycho, but I like to think that when I make musical, artistic, and fun decisions, I'm Mel. And when I'm being like very analytical and like business minded, I'm Annie.
Oh,
And together, that's
wow.
Melanie.
Oh,
So
snap.
Melle Rose, yeah.
Wow.
Crazy and weird, right?
So you have like another alias then.
Yeah, Annie Rose.
Annie Rose.
Are you guys Garth Brooks fans?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he had like a secret alias?
Yeah,
what was
Chris
it called again?
Gaines
Chris
or
Gaines. Yeah.
Chris Gaines.
So Mel, that means you have to release an album called
Annie Rose.
and it has to be just completely different than your normal sound, like death metal, just
All right.
or straight EDM, just 120 beats per minute, just going wild. That'd be sweet.
Gonna have to.
Yeah,
Annie Rose.
Annie Rose, and then Danny Crisis is gonna produce it.
There you go.
Annie Rose sounds like I need cowboy boots. Like
Yeah.
Annie
Annie
Rose.
Rose.
That actually sounds like a brand name. Yeah.
Annie Rose.
Annie Rose. Just to close this topic out, do you guys have a Valentine's Day anthem or a song that doesn't necessarily have to relate directly to Valentine's Day, but maybe it's a song that you played when you're with your significant other? No, Mel, you can't mention one of your own songs.
Dang it.
But just a song that maybe, when you're with that special someone that, you'd want to play it, whether it be either getting intimate or even as a slow dance or even over dinner.
Yeah.
What's your song?
Be My Baby by the Ronettes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That would be From This Moment.
Could be. But yeah, no, I love it. It's so cutesy, so happy, so lighthearted.
The Ronettes had also really, really good Christmas songs, too.
Yeah, they've got, I like all their songs.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
crazy. I'm gonna predict that Paul's Valentine's Day anthem is Mary J. Blige and Method Man.
You're all I need.
Yeah, you're all just the most hip hop love song of all time.
Yeah, that one slipped my mind. Totally. I don't have one,
Yeah.
but I will. Here, this is kind of semi-related.
Yeah.
The biggest compliment I've ever been paid
Oh, here we go.
was that
What is it?
someone on Valentine's Day got a lot of booty to my album.
Wow.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What's the album
it was
called? You got to plug it.
It's called Record of the Year, my first album.
That's amazing.
That's actually what it's called.
Title.
It was Record of the Night too.
Sure was. Wow.
Yeah, so
Beat
that's
that, Mel. Beat that.
I'll work on it.
Kiss me crazy.
No. Congratulations. sir.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the biggest the biggest compliment.
So
you can
pretty
be
much
paid.
what you're telling us is you've made your Valentine anthems.
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy.
There you
The
go.
After
I don't have very
Hours.
many love songs, like I said. So
Actually, totally off topic, but how does that make you feel when you know that someone has gone busy to your music?
pretty good. Like I
I
said,
would
it's,
have mixed feelings, man.
Really, eh?
Yeah, it kind of changes the song.
Does it really? Did you get worried that maybe the songs themselves may have secret meanings, or maybe what you hoped the song was going to be perceived as wasn't how it was perceived, and it's perceived as something else?
I think that's all art. Like all
That
art,
is, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
everyone's perception.
Yeah.
Perception is reality.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is like there's some songs that I don't want to say are surface, but they're more kind of fun. And then people will be like, oh, I saw what you did there with such depth.
Yeah.
And then there's songs that are right with depth, and they're all like, whatever. you know? So it is kind of funny to hear what people's takes are on things sometimes, right?
No, I guess that's what makes being an artist exciting, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'd say my Valentine's Day anthem is probably Al Green, Let's Stay Together. I love that song.
There you go.
Classic song.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's a good sort of segue to end this podcast. Peeps, thanks so much for joining me. This was a great conversation.
Thank you.
So let's do some plugs, and maybe Mel will begin with you because of the time sensitiveness. That's a word. I know musicalness is a word now. So
we made up words today on this episode.
Just add ness to anything. It becomes a word.
And you said actingness, and you also said something ship. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah,
something
I remember
ship.
that too. Oh my god,
ship.
Yeah.
It was something ship. And I was gonna comment on it.
Ambassadorship? What?
I don't remember what it was. But it was we'll have to rewind it.
Yeah,
cool.
We'll actually have to listen to the podcast.
Please listen to it.
I'm intrigued now.
Where can they connect with you, and where can they hear the new single?
Yes, so Kiss Me Crazy is coming out on all of your streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play.
Wow, everything.
You can find it on YouTube as well. And of course, follow my social medias, Melle Rose Official on Instagram. And you can stay tuned for a really cool music video and a lot of fun things we're doing.
Yeah, it should be great. And congrats on New Year's Eve for Brampton last year. That was awesome.
Tons of fun.
That was great. Any stories that you want to share quickly or no?
Back in the green room, I was right beside Sean Hook.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic to meet and work with. And at first he wasn't coming out of his room, and we're like, Sean, he's supposed to be this nice guy. Turns out he broke his foot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and was hobbling around. So I actually helped Sean get around a little bit, talk to him, and that was a lot of fun. And then on stage it was insane because it was pouring. It was just raining down like crazy, and we still had a full crowd. So I just shout out to Brampton. Even when it rains, you shine.
No, that's awesome. Shout out to Brampton for sure. And Paul, the Identity Crisis, what do you got coming up, man? You're always working on some cool stuff.
Yeah, I just dropped a new video called Quit Pretending You Don't Want Me. Check it out on YouTube.
Actually has an influencer in it, right?
Sorry?
Really popular Instagram influencers.
Yeah, her name is Paula Collini.
Yeah, nice.
Check it out on YouTube, youtube.com/theidc.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yes, go subscribe.
Help me get to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
All my records, Record of the Year, Breakfast with a Psychopath, and I Hate the F Word, all available on iTunes. Please download instead of streaming because, I'm not Taylor Swift. I wasn't able to get that deal. Follow me on Instagram at The Identity Crisis, and I'll follow you back maybe.
Yeah, I know he's great. And who do you got for UFC this weekend?
Oh man, are you gonna come watch with us?
Are you guys watching it again?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
thinking Israel is gonna win.
I think Israel's gonna be,
and I'm really hoping that
Whitaker wins.
Whitaker wins.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think their outfits are gonna be like?
Oh, they're gonna be wearing you're gonna see a lot of moose knuckle.
I was gonna say, I don't know how to answer that. But
I just wanted to jump in.
That's the only reason why Mel watches MMA
the red
outfits.
carpet kind of deal.
Oh man, well, the good thing about Anderson Silva, if he loses on Saturday, he still has that new show where he'll be a judge.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So
yeah, he's gonna become a household name.
I want him to start critiquing a lot of those musicians with his little high voice.
Dude, you know what's the funny thing?
What?
He had a full out monologue on that first episode. Remember a few years ago when he was fighting and he always brought out an interpreter?
Yeah.
The dude was such a liar.
I know.
Chael Sonnen was right.
It's funny because I remember when he broke his leg.
Yeah.
A famous video that was going around was actually not when he broke his leg. When he lost the first time against Weidman. Yeah. The famous video that was going around was Usher giving him a pep talk.
Really?
And he was just speaking to Usher with complete English, and I was like, what's going on? I thought Anderson Silva was this person who was just Brazilian that didn't speak any English, and he was just a killer.
You know what it was? He was trying to preserve, and I think there was a psychology to it. He was trying to preserve a mystique about him to make him more marketable.
But you know what, man? I think if he ends up losing and he becomes this really famous TV judge, we'll have to do a theory on Anderson Silva episode.
I'm down. Call me up.
And on that same episode, we'll bring Mel back. We'll do a theory on Katy Perry and why she hasn't won a Grammy Award yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's no tears in that
there
episode.
might be a little bit of tears.
Oh, well, thanks, peeps, for joining me for this episode of New Theory Radio. And if you want to connect with New Theory Radio, check us out on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's at New Theory Radio, as well as hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Nanwa on Twitter and at Nav Nanwa on Instagram. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back again with another episode of New Theory Radio next week. And yes, take care and enjoy the Grammy Awards. And you will hear us all next time. Peace.
At American University, we don't just hope for change, we create it. We don't just dream of a better world, we make it a reality. With a graduate degree from AU, you'll access expert faculty and connections throughout DC to develop skills and experience to turn your passion into purpose. And that purpose can make all the difference in your career. Discover the difference a degree makes at american.edu/grad school.